In 2022, I thought I pulled a muscle in my calf. 2 days later, I was being rushed to the hospital with heart failure and a blood clot in my lung. And a week after that, I was awake while doctors physically pulled a 2-foot-long blood clot out of my leg. I felt everything. This is the story of my deep vein thrombosis, how it almost killed me, and how it permanently changed my body. It started as what I thought was a pulled calf muscle in my right leg. Nothing dramatic, no injury, no long flights, no sitting for days. But the pain didn't go away. Then my blood pressure started spiking. So I went to urgent care. They did an ultrasound, and that's when the tone of the room changed. The doctors told me I needed to be transported to the hospital immediately because I had a deep vein thrombosis, a massive blood clot in my leg. And part of it had already broken off and traveled to my lungs. That caused a pulmonary embolism and right heart failure, which is medical speak for. I was way closer to dying than I realized. I was in the hospital for a full week, and just to make things extra fun. At the same time all this was happening, I had 2 gout attacks, one in my knee and one in my ankle. So imagine, a massive clot in your leg, a clot in your lung, heart problems, gout in 2 joints, and you're stuck in a hospital bed waiting 4 days for surgery. That was my week. The pain was unreal, and mentally, I had no idea if I was going to be okay. Eventually, they decided to remove the clot from my leg using a procedure called a thrombectomy. Here's the fun part. They only used local anesthetic. I was awake, and I could feel them pulling the clot out of my leg. Not sharp pain, but pressure, tugging, movement that should never be felt inside your body. When they showed me the clot afterward, it was almost 2 feet long. That thing had been growing in me for a long time. They got the leg clot out successfully. But the clot in my lung? That stayed. Because of the embolism in my lung, I had to be on blood thinners for a full year. Every few months, CT scans, cardiologist visits, constant monitoring, and the meds. Not cheap. My insurance wouldn't cover Eliquis. A 30-day supply was about $250. There are coupons, thank God, but they only last 12 months. So if you're on blood thinners long term, I feel your pain financially and otherwise. Thankfully, after about 6 months, the clot in my lung was finally gone. That was the biggest relief of the whole ordeal. But the damage was already done. My left leg is now permanently bigger than my right. Shoes fit differently. Pants fit differently. It's noticeable. Walking normally took years. The cardiologist told me, within a week, you should be walking normally. That was not true. 1 week after surgery, I had to attend Epcot's Food and Wine Festival for work. At the time, I was writing for D-Resed Clownfish TV and Pirates and Princesses. The first hour was okay, but before I even made it halfway around World Showcase, my leg felt like it was on fire. I had compression socks, painkillers, and yes, alcohol. Didn't matter, I could barely walk, and that pattern continued for 2 years. 2 years before I could walk without a cane, constant pain, or stopping every few minutes. So where did the clot come from? That's the scariest part. We don't know. I didn't. Sit for long periods, have leg injuries, travel, or have prior clot history. The only major change in my health before this was the COVID vaccination my employer required. I had gotten the shot about 11 months earlier. I brought this up to my general practitioner, and for the first time in over a decade of seeing him, he immediately shut me down. No, not at all. No discussion, no pause, just instant rejection of the idea. Now, I'm not saying the vaccine caused my clot. I'm saying it was the only major change to my health. and the clot had clearly been forming for a long time. So, it's a mystery, and it may always be one. This experience changed my life physically, mentally, financially, and it taught me something important. If something feels wrong in your body, don't ignore it. What I thought was a pulled muscle was actually a clot trying to kill me. If I had waited longer, I might not be here. So if your leg hurts and won't stop hurting, if your breathing feels off, if something feels wrong, get it checked. Because blood clots don't care how healthy you think you are. They don't care how old you are. And sometimes they don't leave without taking something from you. If you've gone through DVT, PE, or long-term recovery, you're not alone. Drop your story in the comments if this helped you or if you know someone who needs to hear it. Share this video. And if you want more real stories about health, work, and surviving the stuff nobody warns you about, hit subscribe. Thanks for listening.